Man, honestly, I just got to work. I just got done driving over, and I grabbed my phone and I pick it up, and it's got like 1,000 messages in the 10 minutes that it's taken to me to get to work. All these people retweeting, and all the people tweeting to me about the news about Seth Rollins and his injury. It seems that the spill that he took at last night's Dublin show is that he's tore his ACL and his MCL, and he's going to be out of action for 6 to 9 months. They're not even going to be able to have a way of stripping him of the championship. They're just going to have to take it off him, Daniel Bryan's style, and he's going to miss WrestleMania. He's not going to be able to have the match against Roman Reigns. It seems that WWE is going to have to try and find a new way to crown a new champion at Survivor Series. They've already named the number one contender in Roman Reigns. The only thing that I can really think of them doing is doing the Fatal 4-Way over yet once again, because I can't think of any way to have a clear-cut number one contender unless you have, sort of like a championship ceremony where they're just going to give the belt to Roman and be like, you were the number one contender, so you're going to be the guy, and have Ambrose turn on him there, and then you can have Ambrose versus Reigns, which looks like was easily going to be, one of the things that they were looking forward to doing. I'm speechless. I didn't think this was going to be like this. I knew that he took a spill. I thought that maybe he just got his leg banged up a little bit. Maybe he had to take, the rest of the tour off, fly home. But I didn't think there was any way in the world that he was going to have a tear and he was going to be out for 6 to 9 months. Justin's tweeting about me making a video right now. But, yeah, I'm very surprised that this is going to be happening. I don't even know what to do. I mean, definitely you can tell that Owens doesn't have anything. The rumor is that Del Rio and Swagger are going to be having a feud. That's something that even as a Swagger fan, I would understand if they passed on. And who was the fourth guy in that match? I don't even remember who the last guy was in there. It was Ryback, wasn't it? And yeah, so Ryback and Owens, not having an Intercontinental Championship match. This is definitely a hard time. I mean, definitely when they were talking about it on Wrestling Observer Radio today, Dave was saying that they just break the promise to Cena and they call him and say, hey, we're fucked and we need you as soon as possible. And Cena's going to be one of those guys that knows that WWE, butters their bread. Maybe, he works television, and works the pay-per-view, and he still finds a way to squeeze in his reality show on the side. But I'm really surprised. It's crazy. This is going to be wowzers. Now we'll have to see. Monday Night Raw. Wow. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today, sitting in the same spot where I made the video earlier today about Seth Rollins' injury, taking him out for 6 to 8 months, and much like Randy Orton, he's going to be taken out of the foreseeable future of WWE. WWE is already in a tight spot where John Cena's not around, where he's taking some time off to go film a reality television show, maybe some sort of workout show, no real hard knocks things have been put out there for us to know what the show is actually going to be about. All we know is that it's with Fox, and that's what he's going to be doing until mid-December when he comes back to fight Del Rio at TLC. But WWE has a huge hole opened up right now, and they've said that their plans for Survivor Series is to have a tournament to crown a new champion, since Seth is not going to be around to defend his championship. Once Seth comes back, I'm sure he'll be put right back at the top of the card, and he'll have the normal heel storyline of he never lost his championship and that he wants to get a shot at it right away. And I think that honestly he does deserve it. But I was shouting out hallelujahs. My good buddy Pinko was tweeting all the way from Kansas. And the way that he put it, honestly, is probably one of the best ways to say this. That with this upcoming tournament for WWE to crown a new champion, this honestly is a clean slate for WWE. They can do anything in the world that they want to do right now. They can even go as far as to crown Alberto Del Rio the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and say that because he came from AAA, he is a united world champion, and try and create some link between AAA and WWE, and say that they have the real world's champion, seeing how basically They have the Mexican champion and they have the American champion, and now this is it, and it would build to their storyline of the Mex America even more. Kevin Owens is a guy that easily could be shot up to being right into the main event. I think that Kevin Owens has a lot of talent, and I think that his storyline character is something that really could make a lot of money for WWE. I don't want to draw the conclusion that he is the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, because we've seen so many guys, even Dean Ambrose, not been able to live up to that sort of label. Dean Ambrose last year around Hell in the Cell was one of the most over guys in the world, and immediately out of Hell in the Cell he went into TLC against Bray Wyatt, and he just became this guy that nobody cared about, and was immediately into the background. You barely saw anybody picking Dean Ambrose to be the guy to win the Royal Rumble, to go on to WrestleMania to fight Brock Lesnar. He just lost so much momentum in 1 month being in the wrong feud with the wrong guy. But Kevin Owens is a guy that I think people really could get behind. I think that people can see that he is a guy just like us. He has a family, he has dreams, and he wants more for his family, and he goes out and he fights to achieve them. Roman Reigns is the guy that's been hunting after that championship for a long time. WrestleMania was his it wasn't his first shot. Money in the Bank was the year before, and he's in the Battleground Fatal 4-Way, and he's had shots along the way. But this Survivor Series was probably the one time that he was going to get his hands on this title. Now, are they going to do what they've done for years and have some sort of authority guy where if they go out and they pick somebody, like maybe they could pick Cesaro, or they could pick, just anybody out there and just say this is the new guy, this is who Triple H and Stephanie are behind. Or they can just go with, a plain Jane storyline of let's just see who the best competitor is that's out there. Honestly, I think that, the Seth Rollins storyline that they've ran with is just a copy and paste storyline of the Randy Orton storyline that they ran with the year before, when Randy Orton was having to try and defeat Daniel Bryan. They didn't want Daniel Bryan to be champion. Seth Rollins was the guy that they were trying to keep the championship off of John Cena, and it never really made a whole lot of sense to me. And I've got two people. Well, one guy, he quit last week. My buddy Archie, who went to WrestleMania with me last year, he wasn't a big Seth Rollins fan. And as months went on, as Seth Rollins was champion, he said that he honestly was just losing a lot of steam with wrestling. He just wasn't connecting because he just didn't want to see a champion that kept on having to cheat and weasel his way out of it. And then even my boss, who I talk a little bit about wrestling with, every week that Rollins comes out with the championship, he says he just changes the channel because he's just over and done with it and they need to go in a different direction. So hopefully Triple H and Stephanie, they just stay out of it and we just see who the best competitor is out there. Finding 8 guys to put into this #1 contenders deal. I know that they just did all those matches to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way, so there's 8 guys right there. But I don't know if you do what you did in 2010 when you had the I can't remember, that wasn't the Gold Rush tournament, was it? The Gold Rush tournament was the lead up to like WrestleMania 21 or 22 on Monday Night Raw, but they had a tournament. Rey Mysterio ended up winning it. It didn't really make a lot of sense because I think on the same show that Rey Mysterio won the championship from The Miz, he challenged against John Cena, where John Cena beat Rey Mysterio, and then CM Punk came out to say that he was the real champion. So, I don't know. I love tournaments. I go back all the way until the last Survivor Series tournament, which was Deadly Games in 1998. I think that honestly, when you go back and you watch that tournament, if you've never seen it, maybe stop right now, and that way you can go watch it and be surprised. But I think once the surprise is ruined for you, I don't think you can go back and you can have the same feel for it. When I watched it last year, I thought that it was a very good tournament. I still thought the surprise was very good, but you know what's coming. But as you're watching the tournament, there's so many twists and there's so many turns, as in Boss Man is the guy that's brought in to make sure that Stone Cold Steve Austin does not win the tournament. Mankind looks like the hand-picked guy to win the tournament from Shane and from Vince McMahon. They're trying to dress the guy up. They're trying not to make him look so grungy. He's coming out there in a tuxedo, trying to make him look more classy. And it all leads up to one guy screws another guy. Kane and Undertaker, I think, go to a double disqualification, which gives a bye. And then Big Boss Man comes running down there to attack The Rock, and he gets disqualified within seconds. And then at the end, when The Rock wins the championship and is holding hands with Shane and Vince, you're like, fuck me, that's so easy to predict what was going on. But you just had no clue. It's possibly one of the best booked pay-per-views of all time, in my opinion. If you watch it for the first time, it was an awesome show. So hopefully we'll get something good from Survivor Series. I can honestly tell you that I hope that I'm at home to watch this show, because I'm really excited for it. I've always loved tournaments. I'm hoping that they go with Roman Reigns to become the guy, but we'll have to see what goes down as the tournament is unveiled.